Hello everyone and welcome. In this video, we'll learn about Jupyter Notebook, which has become an incredibly powerful tool for interactively developing and presenting data science projects. By the end of this video, you will feel very comfortable working with the Jupyter Notebook and it will become your preferred option as well. I highly recommend you to follow the DIY approach as you go along with this video. Try out the concepts as they are introduced. This will help you gain the most out of this tutorial. So let's get started and first try to understand what is a Jupyter Notebook. As per official documentation, Jupyter Notebook is an open source web application that allows you to create and share documents that contain live code, equations, visualizations, and narrative text. Uses include data cleaning and transformation, numerical simulation, statistical modeling, data visualization, machine learning, and much more. Technically, Jupyter Notebook is built off of IPython, an interactive way of running Python code in the terminal. The IPython kernel runs the computations and communicates with the front-end interface of the Jupyter Notebook. Now, Jupyter Notebook extends IPython by providing a web-based application which is suitable for capturing the whole computation process, developing, documenting, and executing code, as well as communicating the results. A notebook integrates code and its output into a single document. This means that you can write both code and normal text using the Markdown format in a single notebook and can execute these, and the results will be displayed inline within the notebook. This intuitive workflow promotes iterative and rapid development and makes a Jupyter Notebook easy to read and share. These have become an incredibly powerful tool for interactively developing and presenting data science projects. To get started, you need to first install Jupyter Notebooks on your system. I have created separate videos on how you can install Jupyter Notebooks on your Windows or your Mac machine. You can find the links from the description. Pause this video and go ahead and complete the installation. Alright, now that we have everything set up, let's get started with Jupyter Notebook. After you have installed the Jupyter Notebook on your computer, you are ready to run the notebook server. You can start the notebook server from the command line using terminal on Mac or Linux or command prompt on Windows. You can also use Anaconda prompt on Windows, which is installed automatically with Anaconda. Now, once you have the terminal open, navigate to the directory where you want to create your notebook or have an already existing one and run the command Jupyter Notebook. This will print some information about the notebook server in your terminal, including the URL of the web application. Also, a browser window should immediately pop up where you can see the notebook dashboard, which will show a list of the notebooks. Since we don't have any files here, it is empty for us. To create a new notebook, click on the New button and then from the drop-down, select Python 3. That's all you need to create your first Jupyter Notebook. Your first Jupyter Notebook will open in a new tab. If you switch back to the Dashboard tab, you will see a new file is created with the name of your notebook with .ipynb extension. All Jupyter Notebooks are identifiable by the notebook icon next to their name. Here, you can easily identify all the notebooks which are currently running. Notebooks currently running will have a green icon, while non-running ones will be gray. You can open multiple notebooks simultaneously and each notebook will open in a new tab. Now that you have an open notebook in front of you, its interface would look something similar to an advanced word processor. Exploring the menu, you should find most of the options self-explanatory, or try to hover over an option and you'll see the description of what the option does. The toolbar has several shortcut buttons for popular actions. From left to right, save, add a new cell, cut selected cells, copy selected cells, paste cells below, move selected cells up, move selected cells down, run, interrupt the kernel, restart the kernel and run the whole notebook. a drop-down that allows you to change the cell type, and a shortcut to open the command palette. In the menu bar, there are two fairly prominent terms that you should notice, which are probably new to you. Cells and kernels are both key to understanding Jupyter and to what makes it more than just a word processor. Fortunately, these are not difficult to understand. A kernel is a computation engine that executes the code contained in a notebook document. A cell is a container for text to be displayed in the notebook or code to be executed by the notebook's kernel. Let's talk about these two in more detail. Behind every notebook runs a kernel. When you run a code cell, that code is executed within the kernel and any output is returned back to the cell to be displayed. The kernel's state persists over time and between cells. It pertains to the document as a whole and not individual cells. Cells are how the notebooks are structured and are the areas where you write your code or your markup text. A cell can be considered as the basic building block of a Jupyter notebook. A notebook is made up of one or more cells. Each cell can have two modes, command mode and edit mode. The command mode can be identified by a blue border around the cell. To enter the command mode, press escape or click anywhere outside the cell. When you are in command mode, you cannot type in the cells. Edit mode can be identified by a green border around the cell with green left margin. To enter the edit mode, press enter or click inside a cell. When you are in the edit mode, you can type in the cells. To execute a cell, press shift plus enter or press the play button in the toolbar above. When you execute a code cell, its output is displayed inline just below the cell. The output of a code cell also forms part of the document. Creating a new cell. To create new cells, use the plus button in the toolbar. In addition to running lines of code, you can also include text-only cells that use Markdown to format and organize your notebooks. So there are mainly two types of cells, code cells and Markdown cells. A code cell contains code to be executed in the kernel and displays its output below. A Markdown cell contains text formatted using Markdown and displays its output in place when it is run. When you create a new cell, it will default to being a code cell. You can change the cell type by clicking on the cell type option in the toolbar and selecting the appropriate type. You can always tell the difference between code and Markdown cells because code cells have in square brackets label on the left and Markdown cells do not. Closing the tab does not automatically shut down the notebook. You need to explicitly shut down the notebook. To do this, navigate to the dashboard and switch to the running tab. There you will see all your running notebooks with an option to shut them down. Why we use Jupyter Notebook? New folks entering data science or AI or ML often don't understand and ask this question. Why do we use Jupyter Notebooks? Since now we are familiar with how Jupyter Notebook works, we are in a better position to answer why we use them in the first place. There are many reasons why they are the preferred way of doing a quick prototype or to share your experiments results. Some of the reasons are: it is an open source web application. It provides a complete environment where you can document your code, run it, look at outcome, visualize data, and see the results without leaving the environment. This makes it a suitable choice to perform end-to-end workflows. These can be really helpful in the initial prototyping phase of a big problem statement, as the code here is written in independent cells or blocks which can be executed individually. This allows you to test or execute a specific block of code without rerunning the entire project. Want to change some parameter values and try a new experiment? Just modify that particular code cell and execute it. No need to run the entire thing again. And also, did I mention, you can run the cells in any order. Run the last cell first, just because you can. From bash commands to magics to plugins, Jupyter enhances the Python coding experience greatly. They even allow you to run other languages besides Python like R, SQL, JavaScript, etc. Last and not the least, it is very easy to save and share your notebooks. You can not only share your code but also the outcomes along with it. And by using Markdown formatting, you can add as much details as you want. Seriously, the list can go on and on, but I hope you have the idea now that Jupyter Notebook files are very powerful and a useful tool. It makes running prototypes and sharing results intuitive and very seamless. If you are interested in learning more about Jupyter Notebooks, I have added the link to their official documentation in the description. Do feel free to check it out. With this, we have completed this tutorial on Introduction to Jupyter Notebooks. As a next step, you can check out my videos on Python fundamental tutorials or data science fundamental tutorials next. I have added links in the description below. Hope you liked this video and found it useful. Also share it with your friends who might find it useful. Please do like and subscribe to stay updated with my latest videos. Alright, goodbye for now then, and thanks for watching.